Hey everybody, Ben here from DMC Films and Cinderblock Studios, and I'm back today with another product review. This one comes from a more digital side of things this time around. We're going to be checking out a piece of software called Paintstorm Studio. Now, before I begin, you're probably wondering why I'm not actually recording the screen with a screen recorder like something like OBS, which I've got down over here. The reason here is that Paintstorm Studio is somewhat of a GPU-based program, and so when I try to record the screen and paint at the same time, I get a little bit of lag, and I'd rather show you that you don't get that lag when you're actually using the program, rather than showing that there's lag because I'm recording the screen at the same time. So a couple of things about this program before we kind of really get into it. It's a relatively new piece of software. I think it was first released sometime last year, and right now, currently, it's about I think $20 US. Which is pretty good. They say it's a special one-time thing for the first 1,000 artists that buy the software, but it's been sort of the same 1,000 artists for the past like 6 months, which seems a little strange, at least to me anyway. So I thought that was a bit odd. I'm gonna try it. It has a 15-day trial. Which seems a little odd, being that most trials are 30 days. But you know what? I think if you can't make a decision in 2 weeks, and you probably aren't. It's probably not the software that you want to use. So this is definitely sort of in the range of Photoshop Elements, Corel Painter Lite, as well as something like Paint Tool Sci or Manga Studio. It's all in that slightly cheaper range in terms of prices. Although this one being $20 is, at least at the current price, is outstanding for the price that it is. I don't know what the price will be down the road. I don't know if they're going to keep it at 20 or anything like that. But for the value, so far I can just tell you without even showing much that it's really good in that way. So I just noticed I got some lines going on my camera right now. I'm going to attempt to fix that and be back in just a second. Okay, hopefully that should be a little bit better. I just bumped the exposure up on my camera. So to start things out, I'm just going to say I'm going to be using my Wacom Intuos Pro. This is the Intuos Pro Medium from a couple of years ago, so I'm pretty sure up to date. 2000, I think 48 levels of pressure sensitivity, and just right out of the gate, this program accepts basically. I don't know about other tablets, but in terms of sensitivity and everything else like that, I basically had to change nothing. All I had to do was open the program and start playing with it, which I think is outstanding. To not have to do anything in terms of pressure sensitivity and everything like that. That said, however, you can play with it, and they give you all those options for you on the left-hand side. Everything from size to opacity. There's color amount, transparency. There's an inherent stabilizer, which is really, really great. It allows you to get kind of curves a little bit better than you might otherwise think of being able to do so in a painting program. You might think of something more like a vector program, something like InDesign. So it really gives you a lot of options in terms of brushes. In terms of brush options, anyway, the actual brushes themselves, they range a little bit from useful to not useful at all. It's kind of like that how I found in Paint Tool Sci when I tried that it's just funky. It's also very similar on Corel Painter in that the paint on Corel Painter continues to move around, and there are some brushes that do that. This one kind of does a little bit. Or you can stick to brushes that work in a very similar way to Photoshop, that it's just kind of layer on top of layer. It kind of gives you the nice balance between both, which I thought is really, really nice. As you're working, you're probably seeing up in the right-hand corner, kind of gives you a little navigator, basically a thumbnail version of whatever you're doing. Now, it doesn't work in real time to exactly what you're drawing, but as soon as you lift up that line or that stroke will appear up on that section. So all I did was here flip my pen over, and I got sort of whatever their standard eraser is. It's a little more blotchy, but again, everything is super customizable in this, which is really, really great. If you watched my video when I talked a bit about using Coral Painter on my Surface Pro, that was sort of the best I could do at the time. This program I wish worked on the Surface, and it doesn't. And that's the one thing that bothers me. Is now they do list a little thing on their website that says because this is a GPU accelerated program, it won't work or will lag significantly on anything with integrated graphics. So if you don't have a graphics card in your computer or a graphics chip in your laptop, then you're probably not going to be able to run this at least as well as you'd like to. Also, I noticed that it did not support the pen pressure of the Surface Pro pen, and so for that reason it's not a good program for a Surface, but for a desktop or laptop environment, it's absolutely perfect. I haven't done any kind of major painting with this yet, but I kind of really want to. At first I was having trouble finding the opacity option, because by default it actually wasn't on for pen pressure, and I was like, well, that's kind of a bummer. And then it's like, oh wait, it's just one of the options. But even if it wasn't one of the options, the way this paints, I don't think I would care. It just feels so incredibly smooth. Everything from the color to just movement and everything like that. You can get those fine areas. You can really play with your pressure sensitivity on your tablet, and it's absolutely perfect for that. One thing I did notice that it doesn't seem to do, and it might just be that I haven't found it yet, while I do have the ability to sort of pinch my tablet and do regular zooming like so, I can't rotate it. It doesn't seem to have any kind of ability to do that. And I don't know if it's an option in the layer or anything like that, but I haven't found any way to rotate the canvas, which for some people might be a deal breaker. But again, it might be here and I'm not finding it, but with the quick access of everything that's around here, from the tools to anything like that, I'm going to venture to guess that it's not there. And as new of a program as this is, it just seems very strange to me that wouldn't be something that was included, which seems exceedingly strange. So pinch gestures work for resizing, but outside of that, you're not getting much in terms of being able to pan without clicking on the hand tool, and you're not going to be able to rotate the canvas, which is a little bit unfortunate. So that said, without talking again and going super crazy into the whole painting experience, I've talked a bit already. It is really a dream to work with in terms of painting. The sketch brushes are really, really great. They give you a really nice range from soft to hard. You get airbrushes, and then they have a lot of weird special effect brushes, which are interesting, but they don't feel useful in a lot of ways. There's painting style things. There's mixing style things for if you're used to Coral Painter or if you're used to Photoshop, so you can definitely kind of walk that middle ground. But as far as their sort of interesting custom brushes, it seems more gimmicky than anything else, and for that reason, it's just like stick with your regular default brushes and should be able to do a variety of things with them. Now, despite a couple of quirks that I've mentioned already, it's got some just amazing options for artists who want to do perhaps work that is less freeform and a little bit more rigid and refined. For that reason, there's certain perspective tools. There's where we are. That's a ruler. There's your perspective grid, and you can play around with that to your liking. And simple basic horizon line to kind of keep you going. This is a mirror edge, and you can sort of create. Oh, hello. I didn't. my, that happened much faster than I wanted it to. So my brush is huge. I want to get back to the sketch brush and some black. So you can kind of create quick and easy shapes. And you can play with the edges and the sides and everything like that, but if not, you kind of create snowflake fractal images. It's really quick to build an easy, whatever it happens to be, whether you're going to turn that on and off and then just use that and paint around that to create something. I think it's a really useful set of tools, and something that I think anyone from digital painting to traditional painting would really find useful. So outside of the tools and the main sort of canvas area, one thing that I really love about this is the ability to customize your interface. And I'm talking like really customize your interface. So in the upper right hand corner there's little on and off switches, and you can sort of take these on and off as you're liking. So you can move. There's a mixer which you can kind of play with color ahead of time, and then grab an eyedropper and then pull color out of that and kind of use it like a palette. That I thought was a really interesting sort of addition. You can, there's color swatches. Now I'm not a big fan of those, so I'm probably going to turn those off. You can either do that or just hit an X on the side. Layers and all of these things are drag and droppable, so you can pull them out of whatever thing they were in, and then you can just put them right back in. You can organize them, in whatever way works for you, which personally I really love. I think it's a great way. Like here, moving the tools over. I mean, just anything to just move stuff around and see how it works for you. The ability to do that is huge. And being able to move them and turn them on and off and really kind of manipulate those is something that I think a lot of programs lack. And the fact that it's not more present on other either painting programs or just other programs in general, I think is really sad. I hope developers kind of take a lesson from this, because that being able to do that is incredible. Another thing I thought of was like, okay, there's a lot of, like, even if you leave all the tools on, there's a lot of screen real estate that you don't have. Not everyone's going to have a multi-monitor setup. A lot of people like me, this is just a nice big 27-inch monitor, and your space is a little bit limited, especially if you want to focus more on the painting than you do on your tools. One thing I did notice in options, this is where we're going to find a lot more ability to organize, is global scale, which allows you to literally change the size of like the toolboxes and your file menu and just everything just in the window itself, which is phenomenal. Again, one of those things I wish was more present on other programs. Another good one is, it says colors, and these are the colors of the windows themselves. So you can take, say, the orange, and whatever color you have selected for painting becomes that dominant color in your color section. So, but by default, it's sort of an orange. I think for my sort of accent color, I think I'd actually like it to be sort of a greenish yellow, and I think it would be a little brighter, like that. And you can do every window. Every window can be a different color. It can be a rainbow thing. It can all be sort of gray and toned down. However you want to customize it, you absolutely can. And that is something that is just makes this program totally worth the money, totally worth getting. I mean, for $20, I don't know if you can get a better piece of software than this. I mean, there's some good free options, but this is outstanding for $20. I don't know what the price is going to be in the future, but I definitely recommend picking this up if you have, a spare $20 laying around. This is absolutely a desktop and laptop painting program. I would not recommend it on a tablet. I would not recommend it for lower-end laptops with integrated graphics. Anything lower than, I'd say, maybe an i5 processor. Probably you don't want to try and run this. But as long as you have the capabilities, this is a great piece of software. It's relatively small. I think the download was like maybe 60 megabytes, which is just super lightweight in terms of your hard drive space, and it feels so natural to use. I highly recommend it. Again, this is Paintstorm Studio. You can see the little logo down there. drop a link to it in the description box below. Be sure to check it out. Let me know what you think of it. Be sure to get your 15-day trial or whatever, and just let me know, because I think it's a really great piece of software. Eventually, probably I'd say middle of summer or something like that, I might actually end up buying it. But for the time being, I don't have a ton of extra money to be spending. I do think it could be a good replacement for Photoshop in the long run, especially if you're looking for something that's definitely more painting based and less about photo editing. So be sure to check out some more of my product reviews, subscribe for more, and this has been from DMC Films and Cinderblock Studios. See you guys next time.